No, I joked a couple of months ago that my eyes were still getting used to the new pattern on the first kit. They still are. They still are. My eyes are still getting used to it. I think it's more the colors than the actual pattern, because when you're watching the game, you can't actually see the pattern. I like the second kit, and I like this new third kit, which is inspired in Barcelona, apparently. Yeah. But no.
That's what we told.
I do enjoy it. By the way, we are now on open on social media. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. So welcome to everyone who's watching us on there.
Exactly. Welcome to all the viewers joining us from YouTube as well. You missed an exclusive interview on Barça TV Plus, so in case you missed that, make sure you subscribe to the platform so you don't miss out on any of the good content on Barça TV Plus. We've got the countdowns, the pre-game shows, and the post-game shows of all of the Barça matches. So if you're a Barça fan, that is the place that you want to be. So go ahead and subscribe. We're joined here by Robin Jongmans, a journalist from the Telegraaf, all the way from Holland, who's set here in Barcelona to follow the developments of the team. Now, of course, with the addition of another Dutch player. How can you not be here? And I mean, so many eyes are on Holland, of course, set on Barça always throughout history. It started half a century ago with the signing of Johan Cruyff, and the love affair is continued on now with Luuk De Jong, of course.
Yeah. It's getting better and better every time. Yeah, and that's nice to see what you mentioned. It started with Johan Cruyff, and since then, like over, what is it? 50 years?
50 years,
50 years, almost. Yeah, half a century.
Yeah.
Yeah, the love is great from Holland.
What do you think? Why do you think that is? I mean, it stems, of course. I mean, again, it started with Johan Cruyff, but it's lasted so long. It's unusual as well. I can't think of any other club that's had such a deep relationship with another country, another culture, where so many players have been brought up over the years and or come in rather over the years. Where do you think that stems from?
Yeah, because of Cruyff.
It is,
of course, and the type of football that Barça went to play
and
with.
just one other thing, and Rinus Michels as well.
Rinus Michels, yes. He actually was the original.
He was the original man who brought Johan Cruyff here.
Correct.
And it all starts there. It all starts there in the 70s.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think it is? Is the love of football? Is the style of football, you think? Or?
Yeah, the style of football, of course. Yeah, and the amount of Dutch players throughout the years. But the style of football that's the closest to the Dutch style, so that's why.
I think that going a little bit into Barça history, there was the great Barça of the 50s with Ladislao Kubala, but then Barça hit a very dark age, a very dark decade of the 60s. And I think both with Michels and Johan Cruyff, the fans had something that they enjoyed watching again. I mean, obviously the fans would still support their team in the 60s, even though there wasn't much success. There was obviously a little bit of downfall as well with the construction of Camp Nou. That meant that for the following seasons, the club was in a difficult economic situation, couldn't sign the best players. In the 70s, Johan Cruyff comes in, brings this revolution. I think it gave something to the fans to stick onto. And Cruyff leaves, and then Barca go through a tough 80s as well until he arrives again. So I think both times that he arrived, the club had some years of, well, not great success, not great football, and that's what allowed the Barca fans to identify to this as well, to feel attached to it.
Yeah, and that's the other way around.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's the other way around. Watching Barca, it was because of Cruyff. That's what we like to see as Dutch people, and what we love to see, and it's the city.
Just before we go on to see Luuk De Jong sign his contract as a Barca player, we've talked about it at length on Barca TV Plus, but now that we're on YouTube and Facebook, as a Dutch journalist who's probably seen him a little bit more than us, what can we expect from Luuk De Jong as a Barca player?
As a Barca player, bringing something different into this Barca, and he's like I said, he's an ultimate team player. So knows his role in the team, and he will bring what Koeman expects from him as a target man, as a goal scorer.
Well, let's have a look at the images of today's practice. Of course, Luuk De Jong has come fresh off of the training ground, taking part in what I believe is his second training. There we see Ronald Koeman welcoming the players, led by Marc-André ter Stegen, Philippe Coutinho also fully fit. And the the guy that we were just talking about, Ansu Fati, also has been training regularly with the first team.
Definitely, and there's Luuk De Jong as well. Busy day today for Luuk De Jong. Of course, I don't think he'll be bothered by it. He visited the museum yesterday and the Barça store today, training, signing the contract, first touches or first photographs on the pitch in the new Barça kit, and we'll be listening to him in the press conference as well. There he is training at the Ciutat Esportiva de Joan Gamper today.
And is Ronald Koeman the kind of player that demands the most of his players, not just during the 90 minutes when the game is played, but is he intense in his practices as well?
Intense? No, he's like more like a manager.
Okay.
I think Alfred Schreuder also has a big role with the team training. Yeah, of course, it's all discussed, so it's the hand of Ronald, but yeah. It is intense, yeah. He demands a lot because of his background, the clubs he played for, the clubs he coached. So he's a very demanding coach, Ronald. Yeah.
And here we see the arrival of Luuk earlier today to the Camp Nou, looking dapper as all the players do upon the day of their presentation.
Right before coming to talk to us, the exclusive interview we had here at Barça TV Plus. As you said, Diego, very down-to-earth guy.
Very down-to-earth, very approachable, I would say. Clearly a family man. Yesterday, when he was given a tour of the Camp Nou, the museum, the store, and the cafeteria as well, the family followed him very closely. They were very attentive to what everybody had to say and learn more about the history of Barça. One moment that stood out to me in particular was at the end of the tour when we finally got to the cafeteria, where usually the player gets the opportunity to sort of form the Barça crest onto the cappuccino. The rest of the family ordered a round of beers.
Okay.
Round of beers.
So it was time for a beer. It was time for a beer. It was borreltijd. It was the time for the apero. So the family enjoyed a beer, also with, of course, the Barça crest at Barça Café.
I had the opportunity to do that as well, Diego.
Right.
We did the Barça live show there for the game against Athletic Club. We were treated excellently at the Barça Café, and after the game, we enjoyed a beer as well.
A beer, of course, as you do, especially on these hot summer days. And yeah, again, it just stood out to me that just how normal and really quite familiar the entire family is. In other presentations, other moments, players are quite keen maybe to call it an end. As you mentioned, they have very intense days where so much is demanded from them, from the press, from looking at their best and performing, if not on the pitch, off of the pitch as well. But in this occasion, the family really enjoyed that moment to kind of just take a break and I guess sulk it all in.
I think the fact, we were talking about it before, the opportunity arrives late in the career of Luuk De Jong, maybe at an unexpected moment, is allowing him to just embrace the situation, enjoy it a lot more. And we can see it in the way he behaves, the way he talks. He says, I'm going to make the most of my opportunity, but I probably won't be starting in every game. I'll be more of a role player. And we just saw him in his behavior here, the way he talked to us. Very nice guy who seems to be enjoying his moment.
Yeah, absolutely, Robin. And maybe you can tell us a little bit more of what the impression of the Dutch people is of Luuk back home.
Yeah.
Is he seen as kind of a homegrown guy, a familiar guy, a normal
guy, familiar guy, normale jongen. Yeah, he's a really kind person, also smart, interested in people, in the history, like here at Barça. Yeah, he's a smart guy, kind guy. Everybody likes him. The guy that everybody likes. Yeah.
And despite the ups and downs that he's had throughout his career, it's never been due to his lack in work rate.
No, never.
He's a very hard worker.
No, his mentality, his character, it's great. That's why he's now here and not after the Premier League, after the Bundesliga, that he dropped down even more. That's what you also see a lot with talents who won't make it, but it's not the case with him. So that says something about his mentality, his character to fight, to make the most out of it.
And are people hopeful? Are they expecting a lot from Luuk under the orders of Ronald Koeman?
Yeah, they're hopeful because everybody is
I help you. Go on.
Excited.
Gunnen.
I mean,
Gunnig?
Ja, gunnen. Ze gunnen het ook.
Oh, so they like he deserves it, so they grant it to him.
Yes.
They wish
Oh,
him
okay,
all
okay.
the-
Yes, he deserves it. So everybody's hoping for nice moments here at Barcelona. Yeah.
And what was the connection between Luuk and Koeman like in the Dutch national side?
The same like they expect to do here. The same role. Really respect to both. Yeah. From Luuk to Ronald and the other way around.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And was he coming off of the bench as well for Oranje?
Yeah. He did too against Northern Ireland. It was a really a big struggle. And then he made the winner in the extra time. So yeah.
Another one.
That's
Another
proof.
one. Exactly, another big goal. No, I mean, the way you were talking about him right now, it makes me think of the role that in the Spanish national side that won the World Cup in 2010. I know that's painful for you guys because obviously, well, I mean, no need to mention. But no, the role that Llorente played in that squad. He came on and unclogged games sometimes.
No, that's true. I think in that sense he fits that kind of profile, right?
Yeah.
You're a tall player, experienced, mature player as well that knows what is expected from him and ready to fulfill the coach's orders when he's called upon. Here we're having a look at some exclusive images right now coming from the Lloja. I always have a tough time translating that.
The presidential
box.
The presidential box, yeah.
Presidential
exactly.
box where Luuk will shortly be signing his contract. We're seeing his parents there. Luuk, of course, coming from a family of professional athletes. Both his mother and his father were professional volleyball players.
Yeah.
It's quite unusual.
That's quite something. Yeah, that's quite unusual, and that they went to go football.
Yeah.
To play football also with that family. But yeah, there's a kind of a mentality. A top sport mentality. So yeah.
That certainly has had to help both him and his brother Siem to nurture, I guess, their careers. In this case, football. To have both parents be professional athletes.
It must do.
I would have imagined. I asked him actually, did you have a very strict upbringing? And the answer was no. Actually, they didn't. So it was this was not forced. This career, it was free will.
But it's like normal if everything is going like that. When you grow up, you see the example from your parents. Yeah, it's becoming normal, I think, to behave like that when you're practicing.
I mean, if your parents are professional athletes and you want to become a footballer, it must definitely help to get into good habits, knowing what is required, the effort, the struggles that you go through as well. So I think that will all have been beneficial to Luuk's career.
Yeah, certainly. And in fact, I was just thinking, Robert, another thing that will have helped and maybe cement the good relationship that Luuk has with Ronald Koeman is, of course, in the case of Luuk, he has Siem, a professional football player, and in the case of Ronald Koeman, he had Erwin Koeman. So also two brothers that played professional football. Well,
he's going to be signing his contract in about a second. They're having a conversation there. I think we're waiting for the arrival of President Joan Laporta. Here at the Camp Nou, on the pitch, we can see the journalists and photographers gathering. It's all being set up for when Luuk De Jong comes out wearing his Barça kit for the official photographs. We'll have to see if there's juggling or not. Maybe only posing for photographs. Maybe also some juggling, but yes, the journalists are gathering here. After Luuk De Jong signs his contract, and we've just seen Joan Laporta arrive, so the signature of the contract will happen in a few seconds. After this, Luuk De Jong will head to the dressing rooms where he'll get changed and then come out to pose for the first official photographs, and then of course he'll head to the press conference we're seeing right now. Luuk De Jong accompanied by President Laporta. By the way, Robin will shortly have to leave us here as well because he'll have to head to that press conference.
You're going to be joining that press conference, or attending it rather. What's your question going to be for Luuk?
Yeah, that is not only if he's not only a pinch hitter.
Okay.
Yeah, because
if he wants to fight for a starting position,
yeah, of course.
You never know. You never know because you might start in that role, but things can change so much during a season.
Yeah.
Who would have thought 2 years ago that Ansu Fati would become what he became at such a young age? It came out of injuries to Leo Messi and Luis Suarez. Ansu Fati got the opportunity to start, and he blossomed. So
Yeah.
here is Luuk De Jong signing his contract with Joan Laporta, and we were just saying opportunities will come up, and if he makes the most of them, he might fall into a starting role as well. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
It could very well. It is a long season. It's an intense season. So many matches being played. What do you expect his answer will be?
Yeah, I think. He knows his role, but I know
he
that
doesn't lack in confidence neither.
No,
right?
no, of course not. But he's down to earth, and the expectations he keeps the expectations low, I think.
Okay.
So it's always like of a bonus what he does extra, and I think he's able to do something. To do something extra, really. Yeah.
Well, the contract has been signed, and there is the
new kit.
Yep. The new kit, the third kit that has been revealed today with that video that we saw a few minutes ago with Stay Jomas Diego. I shared my thoughts. I said I liked it. Your thoughts?
I like it.
It's curious.
Yeah.
It is. It
really
definitely is.
My only question is it too similar to our first kit?
No.
It's
from afar.
From
like
afar, maybe, but certainly not close up.
No, I mean in terms of the colours. I normally like they come up with different kits just so that you don't coincide with other teams. I mean, this one is obviously one that we'll be wearing on a day when we can wear Blaugrana.
Yeah, exactly. In that sense, it's literally staying true to its colors, and similar to the first kit. Yeah, I suppose so. It's the pattern is of course very, very different. But this shirt, of course, we will be only be able to be seen, in the Champions League, and the unveiling is today to the delight as well of Alemany, Rafa Juste,
and
Joan Laporta, and Luuk De Jong, of course.
Definitely. Always a special moment here. Player posing with the president, and Joan Laporta always very jolly on these kinds of occasions. he always likes to have a nice time, enjoy the player's experience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And whenever it involves a Dutch player, I believe a little bit more so. We heard Joan Laporta talk about Cruyffism, the philosophy of the late great Dutch and Barça player that he, of course, instilled in Football Club Barcelona. Do you think that Ronald Koeman's interpretation of Johan Cruyff's philosophy is, comparable, let's say?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Ronald is also a coach who likes to play like that, with the same values, the same strategies, same tactics, but especially the intention of how to play. Yeah, so that's always the same. Keep possession, attacking, score the most of goals. Yeah, that never changes. It's in every Dutch. It's in every Dutchman. So yeah.
Well, there is the footage in the presidential box, and Luuk De Jong will be taken down to the dressing room to get changed and come on to Camp Nou for the first official photographs in a Barca kit, something that he for sure will be looking forward to.
Absolutely. I imagine that he would have been looking forward to a moment like this ever since he was a kid. As Robin mentioned, a lot of us from Holland have Barça as a reference point, and in particular seeing as, in its own right, of course, the Eredivisie is a good league, a solid league with big teams in their own right, your Ajax's, PSV and Feyenoord's, but doesn't get much bigger than the Barca stage.
I want to ask you guys about that because, of course, I see it from the perspective of a kid who grew up here, supported Barca from a town which is like an hour and a half away from here. So in the proximity, I saw Barca in the media every day. What is it like following Barca from afar? And obviously, that Johan Cruyff dream team obviously did get a lot of exposure worldwide because they were an iconic team. But what is it like that following a team from afar, a team that's not in your league?
Yeah, well, for me it was Well, it was very difficult, Robin. I don't know if you experienced that growing up, but me being half Spanish Catalan, of course, my mother being from here, and me coming from Den Haag, we didn't have an elite football team. All the kids in my class growing up were either Ajax fans or PSV or Feyenoord fans, and I didn't want to cop out and just copy everybody else. We didn't really support Den Haag, so it was easy for me to support Barça, but we didn't have the internet back in those days.
You didn't have the availability to watch the games.
Exactly,
as well.
not at all. No, not at all. So it really came down to conversations with my grandfather over the phone, where he would tell me about the latest results, and those summers where we would drive, make that long trip down, Robert, those 17, 18 hours in the car from Holland all the way down to Barcelona, to then finally come here in the summer, visit the kiosks immediately, looking at the newspapers. That was really such a big thrill coming from Holland and being here on holidays. Was it similar for you?
Yeah, similar. Yeah, similar to me. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and people from Holland does love to go to the city also, and there's always a visit at the stadium, always to visit the match, because we're all grown up with Barcelona. Yeah, because of all the Dutch people, Cruyff. It's something. When you love football in Holland, that's part of it. Barcelona is part of it.
It really is, and I almost feel, and I don't know if I'm speaking for all the, let's say, Dutch Barça fans, but that Barça is also a part of us and a part of our culture, our football culture. And it got particularly awkward when Dutch players started to sign for Real Madrid during the Nistel, Van der Vaart, Robin era. That was
Ian Robin versus Sneijder versus Drenthe.
That was awkward.
That was very. Ruud van Nistelrooy as well.
Exactly.
No. I mean, we did talk about it after the right card years. We did go through a little bit of a dry spell here in terms of Dutch players. Now they're back under Ronald Koeman, Frenkie de Jong, Memphis, Luuk De Jong, and we haven't seen Luuk play yet, but we were talking just a minute ago when we were on Barça TV Plus about Frenkie de Jong and Memphis, how they're two key pillars in this team.
Yeah,
I believe so.
They are. Yeah, they are the new leaders, like they say here already, and that's what we expect from them, because they're the key players in the national team also.
When you look at the Dutch national side, of course, we have Van Dijk, De Ligt, two magnificent defenders, and in particular in the case of Van Dijk, such a natural leader as well. But where do you put Frenkie's role, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch within the Dutch dressing room? Is it similar to here? Does he have that same weight and impact?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because he's never looking nervous or anxious. That gives, like I mentioned before, he's so calm, and the other players see that, so they have nothing to worry about. It's the same with Memphis. He's so confident. Yeah. No one has to worry about what's going to happen on the pitch. Yeah. That's the feeling they give to their teammates.
And is he a leader as well in that sense in the Netherlands, Frenkie, in the Dutch dressing room?
Yeah, not like
a vocal.
I think not vocally. No. But in the way he behaves and he acts on the pitch.
Exactly. We were just talking about it before. I think in his third season here at Barca, he has become a leader. Maybe not vocally, as you say, but just the way he carries himself on the pitch, the things he does, how calm everything is when he has the ball. We were talking about it before as well. He can have three defenders on him and no one seems to be worried because it's Frenkie de Jong and he'll just manage to get himself into a secure situation. And I think he's a leader in that sense. Memphis is a different kind of leader. I think Memphis is what he does with the ball makes him a leader. I'd compare him a little bit. Obviously, he doesn't have the same career arc, but in terms of creativeness, maybe a Neymar. Just someone who doesn't seem to be bothered at all by anything you can throw at him.
Yeah. Well, we saw it in his debut, right? In the very first game, he already, what's the English word for sombrero?
Oh, a sombrero, yeah. When you loop the ball over the defender.
Yes. I mean, he was so brave in that sense. It's not
and it looks casual.
And it does make it look very casual. You know, absolutely, indeed. Yeah. Do you think that the fact that these players are arriving as mature players, as experienced players, now playing at the biggest stage at Football Club Barcelona, that it's also perhaps the best timing for the players like Memphis and Luuk?
For Memphis, absolutely. Yeah, he's in his prime. He's now his best years are here, and that's what he was aiming for. It has always been his dream club, Barcelona. You saw the photographs with the jersey as a kid.
Yes. Yeah.
and yeah, and that's he enjoys it. There's no pressure to him. It seems like maybe it will come, but I don't think so. So yeah, it's kind of normal to him. And
yeah, and I think for the fan that hadn't seen as much of him, the stereotype or the general idea was, well, he went to Manchester United and
it didn't work out.
Yeah. And then probably fans here don't follow the French league as much. So it's definitely been a surprise for some players to see how he has performed. We were talking about it before as well. When he went to United, he just wasn't ready for it.
No, he wasn't ready. I also knew the story that he's physically he's like a beast, but then he was kind of a kid. But the intensity of the Premier League made him grow that much.
Yes.
You know, physically, that he went a bit slow, and you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a different kind of intensity. I mean,
so
Premier League football can be rough.
Yeah.
It can be very rough.
So instead of going up, he went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, in his performances.
And we were talking as well about confidence before in terms of Luuk De Jong. That will definitely mine your confidence, and when you start getting in your head as well, it's probably what happened a little bit to Memphis when he got to United. Then he has a fresh
to prove him so much.
Exactly. When you want to prove yourself so much, there's more going against you than for you. He gets to Lyon, fresh situation, maybe in a less competitive league, but that allowed him to blossom, and get to the point where he is now. And talking about confidence, Luuk De Jong, what better than to just be a special request from the coach? We've talked about it at length, but let's go over that again, because he's a request from Ronald Koeman, and he will definitely benefit from that.
Absolutely, Robert. And we're looking at images now, live image, or exclusive images rather, of Luuk De Jong arriving to what will be his dressing room for the rest of the season. We'll shortly see him get changed as well into the Barça kit. That Barça dressing room, of course, state-of-the-art.
Does he have an allocated place yet?
Oh, there it is, Luuk De Jong. Yeah, he'll be right next to, I think it's Ricky Puig, if I'm not, or Agüero, and he'll be taking over the locker that Leo Messi has left empty.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So
we were talking about that in terms of Ansu Fati picking up number 10. Is that pressure? Is it pressure? Is it pressure to have Messi's locker room?
Maybe.
Or locker, sorry.
Maybe Messi left some
boots.
Some good advice in there. A little note. A little note for someone who would take that locker room after him.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly.
And he's getting changed, and we'll see him right now on the pitch. By the way, Robin, you'll have to leave shortly because you'll have to head over to the press conference. Maybe just stay to see him come out here onto Camp Nou, which we'll see in just a few minutes here on all of Barca's channels. We're on Barca TV Plus, YouTube, Facebook. And there he is, wearing that kit.
Sorry, Robert. I just wanted to go on on the topic of Memphis as well as Luuk as well, because these are players that, again, have experienced some pretty rough down periods in their careers, but have also showed their capability of overcoming adversity and reinventing themselves, and at the biggest stage in this case as well, attracting the attention, of course, of Football Club Barcelona. But what does that tell you about players like Memphis and Luuk?
That's rare, I have to say, because
you don't see that often.
No, you don't see that often, because most when talents go to a big club and they don't succeed at first, it breaks them mentally, and they drop down, and their career is sometimes over, or you go back to the Eredivisie, to smaller clubs. It happens that often, but it says a lot about the mentality and the character of those two that they're now playing here at the biggest stage. Yeah.
Well, he's about to tread the pitch, about to take his first steps onto the Camp Nou field as a player of Football Club Barcelona.
We saw one of the head of communications, José Manuel Lázaro, come out, so that's definitely indication that that the player is just about to jump onto the pitch. We can see all the media gathering right here behind us, all of the photographers as well, for this special moment for Luuk De Jong. I can see Aviv down there as well, ready with his phone, ready to post some stuff on Instagram for sure, on Barca's official account.
Aviv, who's almost as famous as some of the Barça players these days.
Definitely. Well, there he is.
Here he comes
Just,
now.
jumping out. Miguel Ruiz, the photographer, as well. And Luuk De Jong will shortly and briefly make his first steps here on Camp Nou as a Football Club Barcelona player. There he is emerging from the tunnel, wearing that number 17 in this third kit.
He's going to juggle.
He is going to juggle. You think he is?
Only with the head.
Only with his head. All right.
So, all right.
All right. And by the way, just as the player comes out, the wind starts blowing. By the way, we've had a bluster of wind here.
Hearing the applause from
His family, I assume. His friends and family, I assume.
And there it is.
He is juggling.
Touches.
Do we have a count of
player.
who? Do we have a count of who's juggled and who hasn't? I think it's just Memphis and Luke who've. So the Dutch players are daring enough to juggle with the ball. The rest of the players didn't.
That's true, because Koen didn't.
Koen didn't. Eric didn't. No.
Yeah.
And Emerson, who is no longer with us, but we did see the presentation, didn't do it either.
Didn't do it either. So it was all down to the forwards, to the Dutch forwards in this case.
There he is with his head, as Robin predicted as well. The wind is playing against him right now. The wind is playing against Luke.
Half an hour or something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why, is he so good
With that.
with the head? Oh, yeah, that's true, of course.
Well, this is something that we hadn't experienced this this year. The family and friends being here and applauding every single thing that Luuk De Jong is doing now.
And loud as well.
And I mean, they've a rowdy crowd. I mean, maybe they've gone to the Barça Cafe before and had some beers like they did yesterday.
Robert, we talked in previous occasions of these player presentations how normally the stands will be filled with fans. Unfortunately, of course, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's not made available yet to the public. But yeah, normally the family and friends will be joined by hundreds, if not thousands, of other fans.
Yes, but next Tuesday, the fans will be here for the first game of the Champions League. First Champions League game at Camp Nou since the pandemic hit with fans. So that's going to be an exciting moment as well, of course.
It will be quite something. It's still at 30% capacity, if I'm not mistaken, Robert. Is that right?
I think so. I think, or maybe they shifted to 40. I'm not sure right now. I'm not sure right now. I think they did move it up to 40, so maybe a few more fans than in the games against Real Sociedad and Getafe.
And what's great, of course, by those lucky fans is that even though nearly 100,000 people normally would fit in the Camp Nou, even at less than half of the capacity, those fans are so feel so privileged and so happy that they really make their presence felt.
They do. They do. We've seen it in all three games. Even when we played at San Mamés, the fans backed the Lions there, and I think they helped them get a point out of that game. And here at Camp Nou, the fans have definitely made their voices heard. Luuk De Jong there just posing for the last few pictures, and the next thing he'll do is go back to the dressing room, get back into his dapper suit, and head over to the press conference where we'll hear him and President Joan Laporta. There is Luuk De Jong, appreciating the love of his friends and family.
Very happy indeed. And you mentioned the dapper look of our new forward, Luuk De Jong. It shouldn't be a total surprise because he's actually got a clothing brand that he started with his brother. Did you know that, Robin?
Yeah, I knew that, but I don't know if it still exists. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went looking for that, but I couldn't find it.
I think at least he spoke about it in an interview with
really?
on Monday.
All right. Then it still exists.
Yeah. But so not necessarily someone I would pinpoint as a fashion man, but here you go, another one of his interests, and a business that he wanted to start up with his brother. Yeah,
that's nice. I didn't know that there wasn't some kind of businessman in him.
Any other curiosities that maybe we're not aware of? I know that he's quite the avid gamer. He was.
He'll get along well with Kun Agüero then.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, here he's come out again with his 6-month son.
Fantastic.
6-month-old son.
Fantastic. So what a year for Luuk De Jong, baby, and signing for Barça. It can't get much better than that.
No.
Lovely scenes here at the Camp Nou. Something that the poor little baby won't remember.
Yeah,
but
we were talking about that yesterday. Actually, he mentioned that while his father mentioned that rather while we were doing the tour. at a certain moment we were with the stroller going around the Camp Nou, and the father said, unfortunately, you're not going to remember any of this, little man. Yeah.
And Joan Laporta now accompanying, I'm assuming, Diego, his wife?
His girlfriend.
Oh, his girlfriend?
Yeah.
To go and gather the baby. Lovely family scenes here at the Camp Nou, something that we don't usually see. But Luuk has definitely wanted this to happen, and seems to be enjoying the moment.
Baby's taking home a shirt as well.
Nice. Nice. Of course.
And what a beautiful day it is, Robert. We were expecting rain today. You even brought your umbrella.
I brought. Yes, I did.
There was no need for that.
The forecast was rain.
Yeah.
The forecast was rain, and here I am sweating. But anyway, Luuk De Jong going back into the dressing room, accompanied by President Joan Laporta, Vice President Rafa Yuste as well. And shortly we'll be heading over to the press conference. Robin, I think you'd better head over there.
You probably want to head over to the press conference at this point, so you can get your question in. It's been a pleasure having you join us here today, getting all of the insights of the Dutch press, of course. And, well, again, we're very happy that you've joined us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Robin.
All right.
Thank you very much.
If you want, you can, just leave that there.
Just leave the microphone there. We'll continue to chat with Diego. Luuk De Jong, of course, has been in training this week. He had his first, shall we call it a friendly game yesterday?
Yeah. Friendly.
Friendly. He almost scored a goal. I don't think we can count that as a Luuk De Jong goal. I saw the replay of it, and I think it's more of Balde makes a great run, crosses the ball inside, and I think it's actually the defender who actually pushes it in. But anyway, Luuk De Jong got his first few minutes.
I was being generous there, making the the adaptation rather of our new player a little bit easier. But we're seeing here the images of his practice this morning.
Exactly, Luuk De Jong in training in what is a very, very busy day for him. Practice with the team. Of course, unfortunately, he won't be able to play against his former team. That would have been his debut. The game against Sevilla has been postponed on Saturday, so his first game won't be until next Tuesday.
Exactly. And we'll see, of course, if he gets a start there, as we're seeing some more images of this friendly match.
That's it.
In which he partook yesterday. We'll get a chance to look at the replay again to see if he got that goal.
All right. I mean, my impression is that it wasn't a Luuk De Jong goal, but I may be wrong. I mean, we could have asked him when he was here. But yeah, getting his first few minutes there, talking to his former teammate Marc-Andre ter Stegen. He talked earlier on about how important it is to have some friendly faces in the dressing room. Yeah,
and on that topic as well, Robert, you mentioned the fact that we were going over perhaps similar players that have been brought in for...
Just a quick interruption, Diego. That's not the goal we were talking about. That's Felipe Coutinho scoring yesterday as well.
Yeah, this one nearly going in.
Yeah. No, you were saying, sorry, I wanted to highlight the Coutinho goal.
Okay, no, I was just going to say that we were discussing the topic of similar profile players being having been brought in the past.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. Anyway,
give it to him.
Let's give it to him. Let's be generous.
You mentioned the name of Henrik Larsson.
Yes.
Of course, Henrik Larsson now on the technical staff as well, part of the coaching staff led by head coach Ronald Koeman, but certainly somebody that will be able to help him as well, maybe adapt.
Oh, definitely. Lots of wise words by Henrik Larsson, and I know that Larsson is thought of as a player who came in to fill that role of coming on off the bench. If you actually talk to him, he wasn't that acceptant of that role. Right. I mean, he came off of being a superstar at Celtic and a superstar for Sweden. So, true. I mean, he saw himself as a starter for Barca. He had the misfortune of getting injured in his knee in the first season, and then obviously it was hard to start with Samuel Eto'o, Ronaldinho, and Ludovic Giuli, and then the emergence of Messi as well.
But that's funny that you mentioned that, Robert, because I was under the impression that he came in assuming his role.
That's the legend.
And we all commended him for that. What a great play.
No, I mean, he obviously accepted it. Yeah. He acted as a professional. Yeah. But he would say himself, he saw himself as a striker. He didn't want to be a player who settled for being a player who comes off the bench. And I don't think Luuk De Jong will be a player who will settle for that. But he does know what the reality is. He probably talked at length with Ronald Koeman of what the coach wants of him. Mm-hmm. And I think his main strengths will be ones that Ronald Koeman will use in cases of a game in which the team can't find the way to score, in which the defense is making it very rough for Barca. It gives Ronald Koeman an alternate option.
Yeah, I mean, and you being the Barça encyclopedia, as I like to dub you, will know much better than me those situations where the team was confronted with the lack of goals throughout the games. You mentioned as well the chances were more often than not being created. Of course, Barça were the highest goal-scoring team last season as well. But often that final goal to really separate or really cement the win was often missing last season.
Especially in the first half of the season, we saw the team drop points to Cádiz, to Alavés, Eibar as well. And I think in those last 3-4 months of 2020, before hitting 2021, which was when the team hit that turning point, there were lots of struggles. And Ronald Koeman talked about it, I mean, in several press conferences. The team couldn't find the way to put in the back of the net the chances that they were creating. He has a completely different attacking line this season. Let's see if he's more successful with that. We're seeing footage of Luuk De Jong in this very busy day. Here he is talking to us. Luuk De Jong. Just, what was it, an hour ago? Here
feels like
3 hours ago. I mean, we've been talking for quite a while here, but yeah, as we were saying, very busy day for Luuk De Jong, who we'll be hearing in the press conference in just a few minutes. I'd say 10-15 minutes until we hear both him and President Laporta addressing the press.
Exactly, and this, of course, being officially the final player presentation, seeing as the summer transfer market at least has come to an end. We'll see if the winter transfer market will see more movements within the Barça bench, but what a summer it's been. We've done 5 of these, Robert,
yes.
And it's all come to an end. And it all started, of course, with the sign of Kun Agüero.
We've done 5 of these, and we didn't do one for Yusuf Demir.
That's right. Well, I mentioned
who is the signing? I mean, he has been inscribed as a first-team player in the end, hasn't he?
Yes, he has been registered as a first-team player.
Sorry,
yeah, he has been. But I think he came under the pretext of perhaps being a Barça B player. But eventually, well, registered as a first-team player to the delight of all of us, I would say, because his preseason has been very, very ilusionante, as they say.
I mean, it's been very exciting. He's shown some clear signs of quality. He's made his debut already. He did that at the San Mamés Stadium. I don't think it was the easiest games for him to come in. Barça were really struggling against Athletic Club, but still, he's had some experience already in the first division, and I'm sure he'll get many more minutes, as will other youngsters, the likes of Nico, Balde, and Gavi.
Yeah, exactly. And seeing how the season has started, how do you, in terms of your expectations, have they met your expectations? Have they exceeded them, perhaps?
I think the team exceeded expectations on day one against Real Sociedad. That was an amazing performance. Even though the game got complicated in the final minutes with those 2 Real Sociedad goals, which seemed to come out of nowhere. I think the team dominated. The team were very, as you said, ilusionante. They were very exciting for the fans on the day of the return to the fans to Camp Nou. And I think, as we saw the other 2 games, Game 2, Game 3, Athletic Getafe, we played 2 sides that can make games very uncomfortable. Athletic with their pressure, Getafe knowing how to stay secure at the back. And I think that's probably what you would have expected more of at the beginning of the season. Just Ronald Koeman having to find the right way to play with his with this new team, we'd say. And it's going to be an even newer team now that, for example, Antoine Griezmann has gone. I think the team that we're seeing now, it's the team that we're going to see in the month of December, once Ansu Fati is hopefully back, once Ousmane Dembélé is hopefully back, once we get El Kun Agüero, it'll be drastically different. I think the team needs repetitions.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, the big test, or another big test, will be, or is coming already on Tuesday, facing the likes of Bayern Munich. We don't need to remind our viewers what happened last time.
Let's not do that.
When we faced Bayern. But do you think that this team is ready for such a big test?
I think the fact that we're playing at Camp Nou, big stage, return of fans to a Champions League game, after the international break as well. The fact that we're not playing at the weekend will give the international players a chance to get back, get some training in, be with their teammates. I have hopes. I have hopes for that game.
I mean, in all honesty, Bayern hasn't necessarily had the best of starts to their season either. They, of course, have gone under their own transitions as well, changing coach. Flick leaving, Nagelsmann coming in, of course, two great coaches, but it's always a challenge for a coach to head into a new dressing room and really, well, I guess, implement their philosophy and style of play. So I'm expecting a good game on Tuesday. I'm expecting a tight affair. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to this one.
Of course, we'll be live on Barça TV Plus.
Yep.
We'll have the countdown show on Monday, bringing you all the information on the game, and then half an hour before the game on Tuesday, we'll connect from our new studios at Barça Studios, from our new set. We'll be following the game with live play-by-play commentary, and we'll give in-depth analysis. At the end, that will all be on Barça TV Plus. So don't forget to follow us, and we'll probably see the debut of this young man here, Luuk De Jong, who signs for Barça at the age of 31, coming on loan from Sevilla at the request of Ronald Koeman.
I'm very curious to see how he's going to gel in within the team. Again, we're talking about a 31-year-old player, so there's a lot of experience and maturity that comes along with a player like Luuk De Jong, which I think is going to complement ever so well a young player bursting onto the scenes, the likes of Yusuf Demir. I mean, we'll see, of course, if they'll coincide on the pitch. I mean, throughout the season, during the season, we'll see them surely play together at some point. I was referring more to Tuesday, perhaps.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a little bit too soon. But I'm excited to see how these players are going to learn from each other, feed off of each other. Memphis and Luuk already have so much experience playing together for PSV and the Dutch national side. So this could be a very, very interesting mix of players and forwards in particular.
Definitely. We were just seeing right now that Luuk De Jong takes the locker of legend like Jose Mari Vaquero, no, Lionel Messi. Vaquero as well. Vaquero as well. But yeah, no, he takes the locker of Leo Messi. Ansu Fati takes the number of Leo Messi. It's a whole new world for Barca fans this season, for the Barca team, with the likes of Luuk De Jong, Ansu Fati returning from injury. Here he is.
He was doing touches while walking down the hall.
He was practicing for the juggling that was going to go on here at the Camp Nou, where they're getting rid of the set that they had for the photo shoot, and Luuk De Jong is now getting changed and getting ready for that press conference.
Be indoors then.
Exactly, yes. It's being held at the Auditorio, if I'm not mistaken, and the press are allowed to be there today. It's not a telematic press conference. Some others have been.
No, exactly.
I'm sure the press appreciate that as well.
Yeah. I mean, to be there live in the flesh, of course, changes everything. The intensity of the press conferences as well, I would imagine, which some players and coaches might appreciate more or less. I don't know. But the fact that the journalists are, of course, able to attend in person these kind of presentations, press conferences is, I mean, it's part of the game, and it's what we want to see.
And as we see him walk onto the Camp Nou pitch, this happened a few minutes ago. Let's talk a little bit about Luuk De Jong, who is a winning player. He knows what it is to win. He's won the Europa League title with Sevilla, scoring 2 goals in that final. He's won the Dutch League several times. So, I mean, he does know what it is to be on winning teams. Yeah,
and he knows how to perform on the big stage as well, performing or scoring goals when it counts, and doing so against the very big teams as well. Robert, you mentioned before, as we're seeing a very brave Luuk De Jong with the wind that started to kick in, take some touches here, still controlling the ball though, happy to see, but scoring goals on the biggest stages in the Bernabeu.
Exactly.
In the Betis derby. Sorry.
No. I mean, I was just going to list them for you, but we were seeing his goals before. He scored at the Bernabeu, he scored at the Wanda, he scored at the Camp Nou, he scored at the Villamarín. As a Sevilla player, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
It doesn't. No. And the final and the semi-finals
of the Europa League.
Of the Europa League. So for sure, a hero in the beautiful city of Sevilla, down south, down in the south of Spain, where he's still hopeful. something that he mentioned in the tour, that maybe he can celebrate all that success with the fans, because he said that well, everywhere
Yes.
where he's played, when it came to the passion of the Sevilla fans, it was nothing like he's had ever experienced before.
Yeah, it was a shame that when they won the Europa League, it was in the pandemic situation. They weren't able to celebrate that title with their fans. We can also hope that Luuk De Jong can be a hero in one of the finals that will be played this year.
There you
And
go,
maybe he can
Robert.
celebrate with the Barca fans. We have footage of the room where the press conference will take place. We're waiting for Luuk De Jong, President Laporta, Mateu Alemany, and Rafael Yuste to head over there. That will happen in just a few minutes, and we'll hear not the first words of Luuk De Jong as a Barca player, because we had him here with us here before. He's already talked to Barca TV as well, so we've heard a lot from him in these past few days. You interviewed him for the welcome show, which will be put on Barca TV Plus in the next few days. And you were talking before, Diego, about how approachable he seems.
Yeah, I mean, a very down-to-earth, very normal guy in that sense. Just a player that you can see comes from a good background. Of course, both his parents were professional athletes or professional volleyball players in Switzerland, where he was actually born and raised until the age of 4, alongside of his older brother Siem De Jong, who's also a football player, currently still active, playing for Heerenveen in the Dutch Eredivisie. So a player with good people surrounding him. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got obviously got good advice growing up from his family, his parents in particular. And you notice it. You notice it immediately as soon as he enters into a room, and in our interview as well, just how casual and relaxed he is. Doesn't shy away from any of the questions, neither. No, just really a pleasure getting to know him over these past few days as the 22nd or 23rd Dutchman, depending how you see it, see the situation of Serginho Dest, has made his arrival now at Barça. And actually, on that note, Robert, I wanted to ask you, you asked Robin and myself earlier what our impressions are of being Dutch, of so many Dutch players having joined the ranks of Barça. But what is it like for you, a Catalan born and bred? How do you see this, let's call it, love relationship between Holland and Barça?
I think it was what I was getting at before a little bit, when I think the love relationship between Barça and Dutch football obviously comes from the 70s with Rinus Michels and Johan Cruyff joining Barça, first Michels and then as coach, and then he brought on Johan Cruyff. I think that comes from a time in which Barça wasn't used to winning. They weren't used to seeing football, and Johan Cruyff and Michels came in here, revolutionized football, Michels with his total football, and Johan Cruyff. They came at a time of desperation for Barca, a time in which things were a little bit dull. Same in the 80s, at the end of the 80s, when Johan Cruyff, wait a minute, I'll just finish in a second, Johan Cruyff came in as a coach. So I think that's where it blossoms, and from there, only positive things have happened. Luuk De Jong in the press room next to President Joan Laporta, posing with his number 17 jersey, that third kit that's been unveiled today. And very shortly, Diego, will be hearing from both of them.
Indeed, Robert. The press conference will be starting shortly. Of course, the questions will be posed in Catalan, Spanish, and a few in Dutch as well.
Yes.
We already heard...
it's a good thing we have someone who can speak Dutch here.
Yeah,
to be able to translate it into English.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's have a listen and tune in to this press conference on the day of the presentation of new Barça striker Luuk De Jong.
Bienvenido, Luuk. ¿Qué tal todo? Començarem aquesta presentació acompanyats del president del Futbol Club Barcelona, del senyor Joan Laporta, també del vicepresident primer i responsable de l'àrea d'esport, el senyor Rafael Yuste, i també del director de futbol, el senyor Mateu Alemany. Luuk De Jong és un davanter que destaca sobretot per la seva potència, la seva corpulència,
Here being mentioned that Luuk De Jong
ve del Sevilla, on aquestes dues últimes temporades
got
ha agafat molta
qualities of a typical
experiència a la
striker,
Lliga, disputant 69 partits,
and
i a
his
més,
experience
recordem l'Europa League, que vas ser MVP a la final i vas marcar 2 dianes.
In the Spanish League already, the goals that he scored in the Europa League,
el PSV Eindhoven, en què, atenció, en
and the titles
204 partits
that he has
marca
won with
122
PSV,
gols. La temporada
Eindhoven, the
2018-2019 és la que es
Dutch
converteix
domestic
en
league
màxim
titles,
golejador de l'Eredivisie, en
and
la que assoleix
the season where he was the top goal scorer of the Eredivisie.
Anteriorment havia estat en equips com el Newcastle, el Borussia
Teams
Mönchengladbach,
who he's
el Twente
played for,
i
Newcastle,
el de Graafschap.
München,
Espero haberlo pronunciado
Gladbach,
bien, más o menos.
the Graafschap.
Doncs a continuació us presentem un petit tastet del que ens espera aquí al Futbol Club Barcelona amb l'arribada de Luuk De
And
Jong.
what we can expect from Luuk De Jong.
Doncs benvingut, Luuk De Jong, al Futbol Club Barcelona. Demanem la
welcome again,
paraula
Luuk
al
De Jong
president
to Futbol
del
Club
Barça, el senyor
Barcelona.
Joan Laporta.
Now we'll hear some
Gràcies,
words
Judit.
from
Avui és
Club President Joan Laporta.
un dia en el que doncs, al club estem molt contents. Molt
Today's a day in
contents
which here at the club we're very happy.
incorporem doncs, a un davanter centre amb ofici.
We're
és
signing
en Luuk De Jong.
a
A més,
striker with
doncs,
great experience
avui
like Luuk De Jong.
welcome també en els seus pares, els seus
We
sogres,
want to
el seu
say
fill,
welcome to his
Udi,
family as well,
de 6
all of his
mesos.
family who are here today.
I realment,
His
doncs, home, és un plaer fer
child as
aquesta
well.
presentació perquè
It's a pleasure to be here at this
hem pogut
presentation.
provar durant tot aquest temps doncs, que hem tingut relació amb el Luuk, que en fi, que
As
és
you've
una
seen,
persona que ens pot aportar molt futbolísticament.
In this
que, a més a
relationship that
més,
we're
és una-
building with Luuk, he's
una
someone who
persona
can bring a lot to the
que
team.
ens agrada la seva manera de ser.
We like the way he carries himself as well.
Nosaltres sabeu doncs, que vivim dels gols i ell
And we,
ens pot aportar molt amb això.
We feed on goals.
L'entrenador, el Ronald, va ser
he can bring that
el primer
to the
que el va
table.
demanar, la secretaria tècnica el va
Ronald
estar
Koeman asked for him
seguint
explicitly.
i finalment hem aconseguit el fitxatge a darrera hora,
So
tot sigui dit.
we managed to
perquè
sign him
sabeu que el
on
mercat
the last hour.
fitxatges aquest
That,
any doncs, ha
transfer
estat un
window
mercat que a darrera hora
was complicated
s'han
and a lot of
decidit,
stuff happened
uns temes importants
on the last
pel club
hour.
i entre
Lots of
ells
important
és el
things
del Luuk De Jong.
For the club happened in that last hour.
Res més, donar-li la benvinguda,
I want to welcome Luuk.
benvinguda
Welcome,
a
Luuk.
tu i a la teva família aquí a
Welcome to
Barcelona,
you and
a
your
Catalunya.
family.
Ja saps que vens a un club que ens acostumem a dir que som més que un club, que això ja
We
t'ho he
like to
dit
say
al
that we're
presentar-nos,
more to the club.
presentar-nos, que
That's
és
what I told him
una
when we,
eslògan,
first
això
met.
és una declaració de principis.
And that's not a slogan,
I estem
it's
segurs
a
que amb
declaration
jugadors
of
com
principles.
Tu, el més que un club va creixent.
And
Per tant,
by adding players like
moltíssimes
you,
gràcies i benvingut.
Miskin Club keeps
Gràcies, president. Demanaríem ara, Luuk,
keeps on living.
un primer mensaje a los culés que ahora te están siguiendo desde sus casas.
Now we'll hear his
I'm
first
gonna do it in
message
English,
to the
it's easy for me,
culés.
but, thank you for having me here, all the culés and all the Barça family. It's an honor to be in such an amazing club, and I hope we're gonna have an amazing season together and make some history and win, of course, a lot of titles. But we're gonna fight hard for this.
Tot seguit començarem la roda de premsa. Les preguntes es poden fer tant en català,
And now
castellà
the floor will
i
be
anglès,
opened
i
to the
el jugador
journalists
Luuk De
to ask
Jong
questions.
les respondrà en anglès.
Hola Luuk, aquí Marco de Barça TV, bienvenido a Barcelona. Ya llevas unos cuantos días aquí en la ciudad.
You've been here
Incluso has
since a
tenido la
few days in
posibilidad
the
ya de
city.
entrenar con
You
algunos de
already had
tus
the
nuevos
opportunity
compañeros.
to train
Incluso has jugado ya un
alongside of your
partidillo de
new
entrenamiento
teammates.
contra el Prat. Me gustaría saber cómo están siendo estos primeros días.
How
cómo han
are
ido
these
estos
first days for
entrenamientos,
you?
qué tal el feeling
How are the
con los
training
compañeros, con el
sessions
míster.
and the chemistry between you and your teammates and
A few days went
your
really
head
well.
coach?
It was they welcomed me really good into the team. What the president said is like more than a club. It's like a real family. I felt it directly when I came here, and yeah, I also have a good relationship with the mister from the national team, of course, so we know each other, and yeah, it's good to work with him, and I'm happy to be here in the team. And yeah, what I said, the guys are really nice, and they helped me out. They said directly if I needed anything, that I could always ask them everything. So that was yeah, warm welcome from them.
Sí, hola, Luuk De Jong, William Santi Jiménez del diari AS. Tu has jugat ja abans amb Memphis Depay?
You've already played alongside of Memphis Depay.
Vale, guais. ¿Se m'escucha? Sí. Has jugat ja abans amb Memphis Depay. Memphis és un jugador amb el qual has compartit i heu tingut molt bona sintonia. Ara mateix està en un moment molt espectacular. Com creus que pot ser la teva connexió amb Memphis en el Barça?
Do you think this connection with Memphis is going to continue to grow here at Barça?
Having a few issues with the translation there.
Yeah, I have a really good relationship with Memphis, and also Frankie from the national team, of course. But Memphis I know already from PSV in Holland, PSV Eindhoven. And yeah, back then we could already play really good together. Like, yeah, we had a really good connection. We could understand each other without words, you know, like just the football words. And it's yeah. So hopefully we can have the same connection here in Barça. And yeah. Like I said, also Frankie, I know the way of his style of playing, and I think as a forward, it's always nice to have midfielders with such qualities behind you, so they can, yeah, they can link up with you up front as well.
So Luuk just changing his headset there to make sure that he gets the questions translated.
Xavi Lemus de TV3. Jo volia preguntar si des del punt de vista físic estaries preparat per sortir contra el Bayern de Múnich ja directament d'inici com a titular.
Are you prepared already to start playing the games? And what has Ronald Koeman asked from you now that you've joined Barça?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good at the moment. Of course, I had the injury in the Euros. I had my inside knee injury, and yeah, I had like 2 months recovery time, and now for like I think 3-4 weeks, I'm training really well with the team again, and yeah, I'm feeling fit. I'm feeling ready, and so I don't know what the plans will be from the mister for the next game, of course, but yeah, I hope to get even more fitter and more stronger, and yeah, the plans from the mister, I think, yeah, will be the same like in the national team. He wanted like a different kind of striker than he had in the team already. Like he can change tactics, and I think I'm the type of player that he wanted, and that I can be part of this, and hopefully it works out well. And for Tuesday, I don't know what the plans will be from the mister. You have to ask him, I think.
Hola. Bon dia. Bon dia. És que m'estaven parlant en directe i són aquestes coses de la ràdio. Una pregunta pel president m'agradaria fer-li, Damià López de RAC1.
Question now for the president.
El fitxatge de Luuk De Jong suposa el tancament de la plantilla. Evidentment, el Barça sempre té equips per competir, però voldria saber exactament quin és el missatge en aquest sentit que se li ha d'enviar a l'afició. La plantilla que li queda al Barça és per competir, estem en un any de transició, o el missatge sincer que se li ha d'enviar a la plantilla o a l'afició en aquest cas és que hi ha un equip per poder guanyar títols realment, o com dic, estem en un any més aviat de transició. En quin punt estem ara mateix?
What point are we?
Nosaltres fem equips per competir per guanyar. I aquest equip és per intentar guanyar. Evidentment competirem. Jo crec que competirem molt bé, que tenim una molt bona plantilla. És cert doncs, que sempre es pot millorar, però estem molt satisfets amb la plantilla que tenim.
But we're very satisfied with the squad we have.
I la veritat és que competirem per guanyar.
So we're going to compete to win.
Aquest és el missatge.
That's the
I
message.
sobretot el missatge és que donin suport a aquest equip.
And the message, of course, to the fans is to support the team.
De la història del Barça.
This is a new era in the history of Barça.
Un equip amb jugadors d'un gran talent.
And we have a team with players of great talent.
Trobo que la feina de l'entrenador està sent el conjuntar aquest equip i buscar els automatismes i tot el que necessita un equip al començament, però són jugadors d'un gran talent que saben el que juguen i venen tots molt motivats. Jo el que veig és que ells estan molt motivats i que necessiten sobretot el suport de l'afició. I amb el suport de l'afició
competirem per guanyar.
Hola, aquí Ferran Martínez de Mundo Deportivo. La meva pregunta és pel director de futbol, Mateu Alemany. Si ens pot explicar una mica com va anar el procés del fitxatge de Luuk De Jong, perquè l'últim dia va ser
explain how the transfer, the signing of Luuk De Jong went down. This question is for Mateu Alemany.
Es comença a gestionar aquest fitxatge?
How was it handled?
Having a little bit of trouble with the microphone there for Mateu Alemany. There we go.
Bones tardes a tots.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Bueno, com sabeu, el darrer dia va ser un dia complex.
As you know, the last day was a complex day.
Molt de moviments al mercat.
There was a lot of movement in the transfer market.
El fitxatge de Luuk De Jong era una situació que nosaltres teníem prevista.
And the signing of Luuk De Jong was something that we wanted to do.
Aquella tarda.
But it's subject to what could happen that afternoon.
La sortida de l'Antoine, vam estar fent feina amb el
And in parallel to the departure of Antoine, we were working with Sevilla to bring Luuk here. So that happened. At the same time, he was the best option that there was in the market to complete our squad. Also because of the economic situation. So we were operating in those two situations, controlling the tempos, because one was related to the other, of course. And that's how everything happened. And as you know, it happened in the last minute, literally. But the two operations went through, and we're satisfied. So that's how it went. And of course, as you know, the possibility of him coming here was on the table for several weeks before, but it happened when it needed to happen in relation to everything that happened in the market.
El garrotge del diari Esport, ja sigui pel president o pel director de futbol, a l'últim dia hi van haver molts moviments, com heu dit.
On the last day there were a lot of movements in the market.
Si ens podeu explicar una mica quina va ser la fórmula i si és un dels objectius pels pròxims mercats.
Could you explain the formula and the objectives that you had on that final day of the transfer market?
This is another one for Mateu Alemany.
We
could talk about a lot of players because in the last 2-3 days of the transfer market, we opened different negotiations in different markets for different players who could help us up front. But I wouldn't like to talk about players who play for other clubs who aren't here. It was one of the names that we talked about, but of course we had to have several options for whatever happens. What happened is that Luuk came here, and that was what the coach wanted as well.
Hola, aquí Oriol Tortajada del diari L'Esportiu. La meva pregunta és pel president. Vostè dilluns va dir que Sergi Roberto seria el pròxim
on Monday you said that Sergi Roberto would be the next player to lower his salary.
Dimarts, no sé com està la situació, si
s'avança
positivament, si creu que aquesta setmana s'acabarà de tancar, la setmana que ve, quins són els timings?
All that will be finalized?
Progressa molt bé, està ja
It's work in progress, it's progressing well. There's an agreement, so it's only pending on signature.
De tancar i ara falta acabar la documentació.
So now the documents need to be brushed up, but it's done.
El Sergi Roberto, en aquest cas, que com els altres capitans, el Piqué,
in this case, like the other captains, Piqué, Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba,
han fet aquest gest de
have had this gesture of the club, support of the club in these difficult times.
Dificultat econòmica i insisteixo, per mi són uns gestos els que han fet que no els oblidarem mai perquè és un gest de barcelonisme sense precedents i per mi s'han convertit, ja ho eren, però encara més en uns herois del Barça.
So we can even consider them heroes of Barça.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Carles Ruiz Pérez del diario La Vanguardia. La pregunta es para el jugador. Tú has marcat al Bernabéu, has marcat al de Madrid, al Metropolitano, has marcat aquí al Camp Nou, has marcat a molts camps, a molts rivals, has marcat la final de l'Europa League.
Difficult stadiums and difficult rivals in the Europa League included.
Què un davanter centre per marcar aquests gols?
How do you do that? How do you score on those big occasions, on the big stage?
Yeah, how can I do it? I just enjoy the game. You know, it's been. Yeah. When I was younger, I think I scored a lot of goals when I started playing football, and to score in such stadiums, I don't know why I make the goals in the important games, but it's just the motivation you have to show it on the highest level. I think it's always been my body to show this, and I think this is always good to score in these games for myself, for my personal imagine, but also to help the team, and in these big games it's to help the team and to hopefully win these games. It's an amazing feeling, of course, but for me it doesn't matter against who we're playing. I always want to help the team and want to score the goals, so hopefully I can do this here too.
Hola, aquí Pablo Vázquez, Televisión Española. Mi pregunta es para el presidente. Quería saber si en este cierre de mercado en el que el Barça ha traído esta cesión de De Jong, ¿les sorprendió que mientras tanto el Madrid estuviera ofreciendo 200 millones por Mbappé, después de que Florentino hubiera dicho que los grandes
Luuk De Jong? Are you surprised that Real Madrid had the money to make this big offer for Mbappé?
Los clubes, para mí, lo respeto y es.
I respect what other clubs do, but that's their business.
Siempre y cuando no nos afecte a nosotros.
It's none of our business as long as it doesn't affect us.
Nada más que decir.
So I have nothing else to add.
Hola, president. Alfonso a la seva dreta, aquí a la cantonada, Joan Tejedor de Ser y Ser Cataluña, li faig en castellà. Con Luuk De Jong, el Barça cierra la plantilla de este año. No sé qué valoración hace usted del trabajo que se ha podido hacer este verano. ¿Está satisfecho? ¿Cree que han mejorado la plantilla? ¿Cómo valora usted el equipo que le ha quedado Koeman en las manos?
Over the summer?
Estoy muy satisfecho.
I'm very satisfied.
Estoy muy satisfecho de que en unas condiciones muy complicadas.
Obviously, the situation was very complicated in terms of the economics, in terms of the money. And the technical secretary, the area of football, has done some excellent work, taking into account that those circumstances. So from here, I say thank you to all of the people involved, Rafael Yuste, Mateo Alemany, everyone involved in that area of football for their work.
Para conseguir que el Barça tenga un equipo competitivo. Pensad que
and they've achieved,
trabajar mucho en las salidas,
or they've allowed Barça to have a competitive team. We've had to work a lot in terms of reducing salaries. Today we're at 80%. When we started out, when we communicated the situation we were in, our salary mass compared to our income was 110%. So right now we're at 80%, and the work that has been done is great. We hope to be able to reach 70%, and that will allow us to be operating within the financial fair play in the next transfer market window. And that situation that we were in this year didn't allow us to do much. All of the clubs have been dealing with this situation. Everyone has had to work very hard. And here at the club, the legal department has worked very hard as well. I want to thank everyone publicly for the work that they've done. We're very satisfied.
Son unos trabajadores incansables, siguen trabajando, evidentemente,
es
lo que toca.
Amazing workers here, and that's what we expect, of course. When we said at the beginning that we need to work, and work well. It's what we're trying to do. Sometimes things work out better than other times, but I'm very satisfied of the work that has been done and the talent that our players have, the signings we've made. When we've had complicated situation, it's been resolved. It wasn't easy at all. This is the most complicated transfer window that we've ever experienced. So we want to thank everyone, and I'm very satisfied.
Què tal, president? Aquí al fons, Ramon Salmurri de Catalunya Ràdio. Aquest estiu, aquest mercat d'estiu, entre altres qüestions, el Barça ha perdut Leo Messi i Antoine Griezmann. I ha arribat Luuk De Jong. Ja sé que és un missatge reincident, però què se li pot dir a l'afició que ara es pot sentir desanimada davant del potencial de la plantilla? Gràcies.
Where do you think that leaves the potential of the squad?
Els animarem. Si creus que l'afició està desanimada,
if you think the fans aren't enchanted with this team, I respect that, but I think that there's hope. And I think that the fans understand that these difficult decisions we've made had to be made. We inherited a situation in which if we didn't make these decisions, we would put the institution at risk. And a decision was made with the best player in the world, Leo Messi.
Presidents, d'entrenadors i de tothom, perquè hem de preservar la institució i en aquest sentit, doncs, les decisions que hem pres han estat decisions, evidentment, voluntàries,
voluntary, of course,
de com estem,
because of the situation we're in,
de tipus esportiu.
And others were sporting decisions, of course. I think the fans are motivated, though. I think the fans want things to work out.
La prova està que quan els que hem vingut a veure els partits,
those who have come to see the games have encouraged the team from the first minutes to the last.
Aquests jugadors que, insisteixo, els he vist més motivats que mai.
And I've seen the players more motivated than ever.
Des dels darrers anys és el moment en què els he vist més motivats.
Over the last few years, this is the moment in which I've seen them the most motivated. So I think they will transmit that to the fans, that will for things to work out.
No, I aprofito també per dir bona tarda a tothom que...
No, I would want to say good afternoon to everyone as well, and I think what will encourage everyone the most is
per la Masia.
our
si recordeu, sempre ha estat un dels nostres eslògans
de la campanya electoral,
ho farem i treballarem
fort. What we're going to do, we want to work hard for La Masia to bring young players into the first team once again, and that's what's happening, and that's what encourages the fans.
Hola, mi pregunta es para el presidente o para Mateu. Hablando precisamente de la Masía, me gustaría saber qué pasó finalmente en esos minutos o en esas horas finales con Alex Collado. Parecía que estaba todo cerrado con el Sheffield, finalmente se cayó. ¿Y qué va a pasar ahora? Si finalmente creéis que se le va a poder inscribir con el primer equipo o no. Gracias.
Will he continue with the first team or not?
Sí, és una situació molt especial, molt atípica.
It's a special situation, not a typical one.
Feia setmanes que s'està parlant en Sheffield.
For weeks, we've been talking about Sheffield. There were a few discrepancies.
Després se va reprendre i 2 dies abans estava tot pactat. I tancat en Sheffield, amb la
it was all done with them 2 days before. We started the proceedings. We did what Barça had to do.
Obrir el TMS i enviar la baixa del jugador, la baixa de la llicència, més el contracte de cessió en Sheffield que havia signat el Barça i el jugador.
We sent in the contract that had been signed, and it was all in the hands of Sheffield and the player. It seemed like everything was signed.
estem encara investigant, no se va
but that
produir.
for reasons that
I per
we
tant, van
still
passar les 2 del vespre,
don't know,
el club
didn't
inglès va
happen.
completar la documentació.
The club wasn't able to send in all of the documents.
Tenim la versió del futbolista, del seu agent.
We have the version of the player and his agent.
La donem per bona, però el Sheffield també ens enviarà un report respecte a lo que va
But
succeir.
Sheffield will also send in a report regarding what happened.
Aquesta baixa de la llicència que nosaltres vam donar era condicionada a un contracte de cessió i, per tant, aquesta condició, una condició suspensiva, baix el nostre punt de vista, que no se va produir, en la qual, teòricament, nosaltres demanarem a la federació, ja han demanat, de forma formal en el comitè jurisdiccional, que es reintegrin els efectes de la baixa perquè no se va produir la sessió, a efectes 31 d'agost. Amb aquest suport,
because the loan wasn't made,
i que sempre i quan aquesta sol·licitud jurisdiccional,
for it to be reinstituted, and we'll see if we can register the player for Barça B and he'd be able to play with Barça B and Barça. And that would allow him to go to another market as well. But we don't want the license for Sheffield to be valid. We want it all to be cancelled and to be able to do that, what we just said, and register him for Barça B.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Elena Condis de la cadena COPE. Bienvenido, Luuk. Mi pregunta es para el presidente, para Joan Laporta. Hablaba Ronald Koeman en una entrevista en Mundo Deportivo de dos momentos complicados, al final de temporada y la semana pasada. ¿Tú como presidente crees que te has podido equivocar en algo con el entrenador, que quizás en algunos momentos le has debilitado y ahora crees que habrías actuado de otra forma?
You made a mistake in your relationship and treatment towards the coach?
De relacionarnos, ¿no?
I already said it. We all have our ways of relating. I've always had a very direct relationship with coaches.
Y siempre les he dado apoyo. Y lo dije.
And I've always supported them. He has my full support.
Ronald Koeman
has my full support. He knows it. And he has all of my respect.
Si en algún momento pues yo me he excedido, es porque lo dije también el otro día,
if I've shown,
me preguntan, no callo.
If I've proved it to be otherwise, it's sometimes because I'm very eager to talk about football. I like to talk about football, and I give my answers, and I offer my way of seeing it. But Ronald knows he has my full respect. And obviously, if I've stepped onto his territory, then obviously we'll work on that. But obviously, I won't renounce to my way of understanding football or being vocal about what the first team has to look like, has to play like. But Ronald Koeman is Barca's first coach. He knows the club perfectly. He loves the club. He's very motivated. And with signings like Luuk today, I think that Ronald is seeing that everything will improve. I'm very comfortable with Ronald Koeman, and I hope he's comfortable with me. We're getting to know each other well, so I think it'll work out.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi pregunta es para el futbolista. Hola, Luuk. Buenas tardes, bienvenido y mucha suerte. Yo te quería preguntar qué mensaje le mandarías al aficionado del Barça que tiene dudas sobre tu fichaje y en ese aspecto,
Barça fans who maybe are a little bit more doubtful about your arrival.
Gracias.
Yeah, I think one second. Of course, it's for me. It's amazing to be here at first, but I think the message from the Mister was clear that he wanted like a different striker up front, and I think that's why he thought about me. He was thinking about me a long time already, and I think that fits in the team, and I showed my qualities on high levels already, and hopefully I can show it again here in Barça, and I have a lot of confidence in this. So, yeah, I think all the fans will help me to feel welcome here and help me on the pitch, and I think together we're gonna fight, and yeah, we're gonna have a great season together.
Hola, buena tarde. Para el presidente Joan Laporta, yo quisiera saber en qué punto está y cómo están las negociaciones para la renovación de Ousmane Dembélé. Gracias.
In what stage are the talks of the renewal of Ousmane Dembélé?
Well, precisely this morning, Mateo told me that meetings are being set up with his agent.
La relación con Ousmane es muy buena.
The relationship with Ousmane is very good.
Que bueno, que se siente querido en el club, que sabe
I think he feels loved at the club. He feels appreciated. He knows we want him to stay.
Le vamos a plantear una renovación y buscaremos el interés de las dos
partes. We'll make our offer for an extension and we'll look for an agreement.
Se cambió el número.
He liked number 7. He's changed that number.
La verdad es que a mí me ha dicho que tiene muchas ganas de volver ya
a los
terrenos de
juego. He's very eager to get back to playing.
Estoy convencido
wearing the Barça shirt. So I'm very hopeful with the work that Mateo and his team will do with Ousmane's agent.
Este jugador que tiene una gran calidad, que
this is a player who has great quality. We're all very happy to have him here.
Su forma de jugar. Vamos a conseguir que bueno, que juegue seguido y que lo que ha pasado.
We'll get him to play regularly. And for everything that has happened previously, with difficult moments, for those to be in the past and not happen again. There's a plan with the club for this player to be able to express all of his talent.
Luuk, hello. Congratulations. You're 31 years old. What is this for day? You started at the Graafschap, small club. You build it up and up. So describe your feeling about today.
I think it's an amazing feeling. What you said, I started at a small club in Holland, working hard every day, and yeah, I'm 31 years old now, and here at Barcelona, the club you're dreaming of when you're a little kid to play one day, and it's what I said. It's an amazing feeling, and I think I can be also proud of myself that what I've reached, what I've done in my career so far, and hopefully I can show a lot more, and here in Barça as well, and with this Barça family.
Hola, aquí. La meva pregunta és pel president Joan Laporta o pel director de futbol Mateu Alemany. Aquests dies han circulat algunes informacions sobre que hi podria haver una hipotètica clàusula que en cas que Coutinho arribés als 100 partits amb el Barça s'hagués d'abonar un import de 20 milions al Liverpool. La pregunta és si existeix aquesta hipotètica clàusula i si es compta amb Coutinho per aquesta temporada. Gràcies.
And if you count on Coutinho for the season.
Bueno, jo crec que com vam explicar qualque vegada, sistemàticament es contracte de traspàs de jugadors del Barça sempre
the contracts of Barca players always had bonuses.
Fàcil d'aconseguir per part dels clubs.
Bonuses which
no parlaré concretament de les
clàusules easy to achieve, but I'm not going to talk about the bonuses on this particular contract because there's confidentiality, but I'll talk generally. Coutinho is a very important player for us, and there are no clauses that concern us. I can't be concrete about it, but in generally we've seen that to be a systematic thing. But the good news for us is that yesterday we saw Coutinho play well. I was able to see him yesterday in training, and we hope that he can be a great signing for us this season.
El nom, sisplau, i el mitjà d'on treballeu.
¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes. Buena tarde, David Bernabé de Deportes 4. Bienvenido, Luuk. Mi pregunta es para el presidente Joan Laporta. Usted ha insistido en los últimos días claramente en la necesidad de tener un entrenador fuerte,
over these
no
last
débil.
Few days that you wanted a strong coach.
Todo el mundo sabe más o menos lo que pasó este verano.
Everybody knows what happened
Hay
this
unas
summer.
declaraciones recientes del entrenador diciendo que él quiere todo el poder.
Statements of the manager
Si
saying
comulga
that
con esa frase,
he wants
y le preguntaría
full
si usted
control.
Repetirá lo que hizo en 2003 con Rijkaard si las cosas
Will
vienen
you
mal dadas,
repeat
que es mantener la confianza en el
what
entrenador.
you did with Frank Rijkaard in 2003 when things went bad and maintain the confidence in your manager?
Yes, of course. I continue to have full confidence in our coach. The coach has all of the power in terms of the sporting decisions. And he has all of our support, all of our respect, and our confidence. And all of the help coming from our part whenever he needs it. And that's where we are. And of course, in the difficult moments, he'll have us by his side.
Hola, buenas tardes. Josep Soldado para la sección Antena 3. Presidente, usted, Florentino y el presidente de la Juve son los únicos supervivientes de la Superliga.
You, Florentino, and the president of Juventus are the only survivors of the Super League.
Con Al-Khalifi, el presidente del PSG, abrazándose.
We saw images of Ceferin, the president of UEFA, and Al-Khalifi hugging each other.
I didn't see that. I have no reaction to it because I didn't see it. But the survivors would be Juve, Madrid and Barça, not PSG. But I didn't see that photograph that you're talking about.
Yo creo que en el marco debería ser de la reunión de la ECA, pues es normal que los presidentes, más allá de que tengan afinidades o discrepancias, se saluden, porque
moments like that in which they greet each other.
No me parece mal.
La meva pregunta és per al Luuk. Benvingut, Joan Pol Alcaraz del Món.cat. Has arribat cedit una temporada i el club té una opció de compra al final d'aquesta. M'agradaria saber si la teva intenció és triomfar aquí i convèncer el club per convertir-te en un jugador de futur o si contemples l'opció de tornar a Sevilla. Gràcies.
Do you expect to convince the club to sign you or to return to Sevilla?
No, I'm on loan here for 1 year, that's right. So I'm just gonna work hard as possible and we'll see what the future will bring for me.
Hola, la pregunta es para Luuk, aquí. Luuk, Koeman reconoció esta semana que tuvo contactos contigo a principios del...
Sisplau, i el mitjà. No mi mitjà, perquè us coneguin.
Ángel Álvarez, Colemanía. Koeman reconoció durante la semana que tuviste conversaciones, que tuvo contactos contigo en el comienzo del mes de agosto. No sé si podrías afirmar esto, qué tipo de conversación tuvieron en aquella oportunidad y qué importancia tuvo Koeman en tu decisión de venir al Barça.
And how important was Koeman in your decision to come here to Barça?
I spoke with Koeman, that's right, and I'm not going to talk about details, but I spoke with him. But I think what he said in the media was like he was thinking about a different striker, and that's what he told me as well. And but it was still tough, the situation in Barça, of course, at the point. So he was like, if something happens, be ready, and hopefully I can bring you to the team so I can add you as a player. And what he wanted, like to have different tactics and different style of attackers. And at the end, luckily it all worked out well. And we still had some communication during August and how it was going. But at the end, really at the end, it worked out well for me and also for Barça. I think that we can work together.
Sergio González, Más que Pelotas Radio. Una pregunta para Luuk De Jong. ¿Es el paso más importante de tu carrera llegar al Fútbol Club Barcelona, el club más importante del mundo? ¿Cómo lo tomas a esta altura de tu carrera?
How do you
of course, it's for me the biggest step in my career and the biggest thing I've achieved to play for me the biggest club in the world. And I've done things in my career like winning Europa League, winning titles in Holland, of course, but what I said before, coming here as dreaming from playing at Barcelona and eventually playing here, that's a dream come true. And proud of what I worked for all the years and hopefully get some more beautiful memories here in the Barça family.
Doncs fins aquí la roda de premsa de Luuk De Jong i també posem el punt i final a la presentació del nou jugador del Barça. Ara només ens queda desitjar-li moltíssima sort, mucha suerte, Luuk, esta temporada. Vamos a hacer una fotografia final amb la samarreta blaugrana. Recordem que el jugador lluirà el dorsal 17, que ja el veiem imprès en aquesta samarreta. Tots els mitjans gràfics podeu aprofitar ara per fer la fotografia.
All right, well, as the press conference is slowly but surely coming into an end, we see here Luuk De Jong still posing one last time in front of the cameras with the Champions League edition shirt of Football Club Barcelona. And we'll see if he will wear on Tuesday. Also, our broadcast is coming to an end, Robert. Yes. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day.
It's been a long summer for that matter, but the fifth player presentation has come to an end.
Exactly. We've had a nice chance to chat with Luuk De Jong. We've learned all about him, and we wish him the best of luck in his first season here at Barça.
Absolutely, Robert. And thank you so much, of course, for being here as well. You can see more of Robert and me, of course, on Barça TV Plus. So for the viewers of YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the platform Barça TV Plus. We've got shows like The Countdown, Barça Live as well, and all of the Barça content that you ever want. So go ahead, don't doubt it. Go ahead and sign up to the platform, and we will see you there on Barça TV Plus, your home for all of your football content. We'll see you next time.